Hey guys, welcome to the newest video on the Halogaming channel, and today we're going to be talking about the poster girl of Overwatch herself, Tracer. So with the shift in meta, Tracer is seeing a lot more play as players of her are returning back to her after some time during the tank meta that we have hopefully just left behind. In today's video we're going to be talking about how to counter Tracer, as this little cockney woman could go zipping by you and lead you into despair as she wrecks you. So let's talk about how she fares right now against all the other characters, and then a little more detail with some of her best counters. So first up it's Genji, and as Genji it's really hard to hit Tracer and she can just zip around and avoid your shurikens. Genji can swift strike Tracer and this puts her instantly at 100 HP right from the start of the fight. So Genji is not a bad counter, but I'm moving very quickly on now to McCree, and there's probably only one thing to say about McCree, and that is flashbang headshot equals win. So if you're playing McCree and you have flashbang, try and flashbang the Tracer, shoot her in the head and she's already dead. So I'd give McCree an incredibly good chance against it. Okay, so next up is Pharah, and she is incredibly good against Tracer. The thing is, Tracer is an incredibly close range character, as you might see in some of the clips that I'll be playing behind this voiceover, and you have to get near to them, and she can't fly, so she can't get near Pharah. Therefore, Okay, so moving on to the mirror matchup here, and this is going to be Tracer versus Tracer, which is so fun and absolutely hilarious. But getting down to the nitty-gritty, it is all about aim, and it's the use of your recall. So as soon as you take a lot of damage, recall. Tracer is quite a burst character, so you're going to take a lot of damage at one point and then you can recall it all back. Normally recalling last wins, but it is all about aim. So Tracer v Tracer, incredibly fun, all about aim, use your recall wisely. Okay, to round out the offensive heroes here, it's going to be Soldier 76, and if you have Biotic Field on cooldown, Tracer can capitalize on this and take you down fairly easy. Otherwise, a good Helix rocket and you should be good. Okay, moving on to the defense lineup, and we're going to start with Bastion, who I think is going to be seeing a lot more play now that he's getting these buffs, and we're going to start with the fact that Bastion just absolutely wrecks Tracer in sentry mode. You just have to be careful that she doesn't pulse bomb you, as you will die instantly, so just be careful of the pulse bomb, but you absolutely wreck her in sentry mode. Okay, so now it's for my favourite character in the world, just kidding, it's Hanzo. Tracer blinking around all over the place can make it really hard to hit her, but a good scatter arrow can help win this duel as Tracer dies almost instantly. Next up is Junkrat, and he's a great pick against Tracer. Spamming grenades into a choke can deal good amount of damage, and it only takes 2 grenades to kill her. Also, his mine can be incredibly useful in getting her to stand still when she's blinking around all over the place and you just cannot hit her. Just throw a mine down, if she hits the mine she stands still, you shoot her once, you win this 1v1. So I'm going to say that Junkrat is an incredibly good counter to Tracer, and we'll be talking about him later on in the video. May's alternate fire is really good against Tracer and can one-shot her in the head. Her freeze gun is really good and can slow Tracer and help your teammates or yourself kill her, because it will stop Tracer from blinking around and running around so fast. Also, May has really good survivability in her ice block, making it harder for Tracer to kill her. Torb turrets are one of the most annoying things in the game, and this is no different whilst playing Tracer. Let me tell you, as soon as you peek your head out on a mad flank as Tracer, that Torb turret is going to insta-lock on you and their team are going to know exactly where you are. So this can be incredibly good if you're playing the Torbjorns and you don't know where the Tracer is. Your turret will find her for you, he will probably shoot her once, and this is incredibly good in getting to know where the Tracer is when she's on a mad flank. And you may also want to know that Tracer doesn't really have a very effective way of dealing with Torb's turret. Probably the most effective way that Tracer has of dealing with Torb's turret is going to be a pulse bomb, and a pulse bomb for a turret isn't really very good ult usage, so I'm going to say that Torb is a very good counter to Tracer. Okay, so moving on to Widowmaker. If you are high up where Tracer can't reach you easily, this is a sure victory for Widow. We're not even going to start talking about anything else. But if you are not in the best position, make sure you keep an eye out for the Tracer coming to kill you from behind. Venom Mine is an incredibly good way to show where Tracer is, and this makes a good Widow a good counter to Tracer. But if you're not very good at Widow and they're playing a Tracer, probably don't switch to Widow. So the next class that we're going to be talking about is tanks, and I want to preface this section of the video by saying I'm not going to be including Orisa because she has not hit the live service yet. I haven't had much chance to play her. I don't know how she's going to pan out. Of course, there will be some updates videos on Orisa as soon as she hits the live servers, but we're going to be moving on to D.Va now. So D.Va is very difficult to kill due to the big amount of armor, but this matchup got slightly better with the D.Va nerf, and I think it's more favored towards the Tracer now. But you know, a good D.Va can destroy Tracer, so if you're good at D.Va, swap to D.Va. If not, stick to some of the other things that we're going to be mentioning at the end of the video. Ryan can swing his massive hammer and whack Tracer around no problem, doing huge amounts of damage, probably causing her to recoil, and he can also use his shield to protect from her oncoming shots, but it does make the Ryan turn round, which can therefore lead to more opportunities for the rest of your team. If you are playing Tracer, the Ryan turns round, your team can go in, and this can be an incredibly good counter to Ryan. Actually, this isn't a counter to Ryan video, but I just wanted to say that if they are playing Ryan, flank around them, get the Ryan to turn around, and then wreck everyone. Okay, so the key to the Roadhog and Tracer 1v1 is Hog needs to hit a hook to kill Tracer, basically. Hog can just hook and kill Tracer straight away, one hit kill as he can with most of the characters in this game, but I'm not going to say that he's a counter to Tracer because he is a massive ultimate sponge for Tracer. She can just pile so much damage to him, and then he can just heal that up, and she can pile more in, and she can build her ult really quickly. So I'm actually going to say that Hog is a misconception. Hog versus Tracer is a misconception, okay? You heard it here first, guys. Winston has his Tesla gun, which you don't need to aim, making a fast moving Tracer easier to deal damage to, and his bubble shield can give him a fair amount of survivability if used correctly. Okay, so the final tank that we're going to talk about is Zarya, and if you have your personal barrier on cooldown, you've lost this fight. Let's just put it like that. Don't have your personal barrier on cooldown when Tracer is about to attack you, if possible, because she will just melt through you. Basically, you want to have your personal barrier. If you have your personal barrier, you win. If you don't, you lose. That's kind of how a lot of the fights are going to go with Tracer. If you have an ability, you win. If you don't have an ability, you lose. If you do have your personal barrier, then you can probably deal with Tracer quite easily with a couple of alternate fires as Zarya. So the idea of playing Tracer is to get into their backlines and absolutely wreck their healers, then wreck the rest of their team. So if you are playing a healer, then you need to make sure that you are knowing whether you counter Tracer or not. So we're going to move on to the first support character, and that is going to be Lucio. Lucio can't kill Tracer, can't really kill Tracer, but he's incredibly good at keeping himself alive, therefore his team can contribute in damage and hopefully come and rescue you, and I just think all round he's quite good against Tracer, and he can keep the rest of your team alive. If the Tracer isn't focusing the Lucio, he can keep the rest of your team alive. So I think Lucio is going to be my support counter to Tracer. Okay, so Anna can be incredibly good against Tracer. Hitting her with your primary fire is very effective, and Biotic Grenade after Tracer has used recoil can be amazing for the rest of your team. But I would not say that she is a particular counter to Tracer. Have good aim, hit those shots as Anna, and you're probably going to win this. If not, the Tracer's going to wreck you. No aim, no brain, I'm a Symmetra main, and with Symmetra's gun, similar to Winston's, you don't have to aim, so you can just melt through Tracer, but Symmetra is particularly good when she has some sentries nearby, so you can sort of keep a track on where the Tracer is blinking, and where she is at that moment in time, so you can sort of focus her down, and this can be incredibly helpful. Zen can discord Tracer and shoot Tracer, and you really gotta pray for that headshot or try and hit that headshot, but if not, he has no survivability and no escape mechanism, so don't expect to live particularly forever. Okay, when playing Mercy and the enemy team have a Tracer, all you gotta do is try shoot her in the head with your blaster. If you can't hit her, then don't expect to live very long. Okay, so a quick roundup of all the characters that I think are going to be amazing against Tracer, and the first one is going to be McCree. The flash and headshot combo is absolutely insane. Like, there is no better combo to destroy a Tracer. McCree flashbang, she can't move, shoot her in the head, she's dead. Soldier 76 is definitely a solid pick in the meta right now. He can destroy those bastions, he can destroy those barriers, and he can also destroy those tracers. So if you have your biotic field on cooldown, Tracer will capitalize on this, so make sure that you use that correctly. But if not, just hit those Helix rockets, hit those couple of shots, and she's down, she's yours, and you've defeated the Tracer, and that's one less thing to worry about. Junkrat is a great pick in the meta right now, and is a great pick against Tracer. Spamming grenades into the choke and into the Rhine Shield can destroy the Rhine Shield and can destroy everybody in the choke. He's fairly good against Bastion, which, as I say, I think we'll see a lot more play, and it only takes 2 grenades to kill Tracer. And his mine can also be incredibly useful in getting her to standstill when she's blinking around, so I think Junkrat is going to be an incredibly good pick when going into Season 4 right now. My tank character that I think counters Tracer the best is going to be Winston. His gun, you don't have to aim, so it's very easy to hit her, and I would say that a lot of people think Roadhog is the best tank to counter Tracer. I think you're wrong, because she can just charge her ult so quickly on your face that, you know, why you don't counter Tracer, you just give her ult charge. So I think Winston is going to be an incredibly good counter to Tracer, and I think he's going to be quite good in the meta as well. There's going to be Sombras around, and he's quite good against Sombra, so if you're looking to play a tank in Season 4, Winston's definitely your scientist. And my support character is going to be Lucio. And a lot of you would have thought that I would have said Anna, and she is quite good, but I think Lucio's just that little bit better. Lucio can keep himself alive and can contribute in dealing damage to her, and hopefully your teammates will come across and finish that damage off. But if Tracer's not attacking you for some odd reason as Lucio, then you can just heal the rest of your team with your healing amp, or, you know, your healing aura, and can keep everybody alive and basically negate the damage that Tracer does. So I think Lucio is going to be my support character for if you want to deal with those annoying Tracers in competitive mode. Okay, so that's just some of my thoughts on how we can counter the Tracer that we keep seeing in competitive right now, because trust me, she is one of the most triggering characters in the game. Basically, you can turn around as Zenyatta and be destroyed in about 3 seconds from a Tracer that your team didn't call out was on a mad flank and is now behind you, and you're dead. So thanks team, and I would like to know what you think about how you can counter Tracer, and thank you guys very much for watching this video, and I shall see you in the next one.